So I thought I'd do something a little bit different this week, and I wanted to do just sort of a chatty video on why you should start making YouTube videos as a beginning artist. Today I realised that it's been over a year since I decided to properly knuckle down and start making YouTube videos on this channel. Before then, it was very sporadic, and for the first few months when I started it last year and I was getting into the groove of things, it was sort of very on and off. It wasn't basically weekly as it is now, but it has been over a year since I mentally dedicated myself to this little project, and I have learnt a lot over that time, not only just on how to make better videos, but also how to make better video ideas and market them a bit better. And I've grown a lot in self-confidence as well when it comes down to that. And I honestly think I've learned quite a lot of valuable lessons from making YouTube videos about my artwork. So I wanted to make this video to sort of share some of those things that I have learned and maybe inspire you to make a couple of videos if you are starting out in your art journey, or if you've been making art for a while, because in a way I think it is worthwhile. So let's get into that, and I'll try and make some logical sense on why I think making videos is going to sort of help you with your art, hopefully. So if I really think about it, maybe you don't need to make actual YouTube videos, but maybe you could share your artwork through some other medium such as Instagram or a personal blog or website or whatever. You know, the usual things that people recommend that you should use. But I'll just focus on YouTube for now because that's the main platform that I use. When you get down to the bottom of it, regardless of what platform you're sharing on, when you do start sharing what artwork you're creating and the progress that you're making through art, you slowly but surely do start to build an audience that is interested in what you're doing and what you're up to. And it's weird that that happens, but it seems to happen. People do find you. And honestly, that is the reason why I did start YouTube, because I have always had a strong desire to build some sort of community or audience that I can share my creations with. I mean, I know a lot of artists, they create because they want to create and they're happy just doing it themselves and never showing anybody. And I mean, I'm not saying that the only reason I create is to share with people, but it is a form of self-expression. And when you have that audience there that can sort of see what you're producing and respond to it and criticize it in both good and bad ways, that's something very exciting for me, and probably for a lot of people as well. So the fact that if you do share what you create online, you'll hopefully be able to find people that are interested in that and that will respond to what you create. And that's honestly something that's just kept me going with this channel, because even though my audience or community or whatever you want to call it, even though I've only got a small group of people that actively watch and respond to my comments and everything, every one of those comments that I receive that are about my videos or my artwork, it's just so exciting to read them and get other people's perspectives on what I create. So if you want to start building a community, or you just wish that more people would sort of respond to what you create online, then making YouTube videos is a great way to sort of start building that audience. And I know you've probably heard it time and time again, but if you do try and stay consistent, people do come. And it's quite exciting. The other reason why I'd recommend especially beginning artists to start sharing what they create on YouTube is that it's something that you can look back on in the future and actually see how far you've come. A couple months ago when I was making one of my other videos, I was going back through my old videos and I was watching a video of me paint a really old painting that I tried, and the painting was just so bad. It was just very amateurish, and I know my stuff's amateurish now, but anyway, it was more amateurish than what I create now. And the most exciting part was that I could see how bad I was in technique and in what I created, and I could just think about what I'm creating now, and I can see the progress that I've made in such a short amount of time, and with honestly not a lot of time dedication in a way. Sadly, I'm not painting every day, so it was just exciting to see that I am making progress in not only what I create as well, but in my filming style and my editing and my color grading. It was nice to see progress, and that is another huge reason why I just recommend you start a YouTube channel if you're beginning in art or literally in anything, because one day in 6 months or a year or 5 years or whatever, you'll look back on those videos, and regardless of where you are at that point in time, if you have an audience or if you don't, or if you got bored and quit after one video, at least in the future you'll be able to look back on that and think, wow, I've improved in so many ways. And I think that's something pretty special. Similar to that, of course, when you do make YouTube videos, you do start building skills in other areas other than art. Obviously, you get to learn a bit more about filming and a bit more about editing. That's a pretty obvious one, but you also do learn a lot more about how to use keywords and how to use SEO and metadata or whatever it's called and all that sort of stuff. And you may think, okay, that's useful in YouTube, but what else really? It's the fact that I can sort of use what I've learned on YouTube and apply it to my Etsy site, or apply it to what I post on Instagram or whatever, and hopefully generate a few more people that come and have a look at my stuff and may even buy my stuff. That's a very cool skill to have, especially in this day and age where people are making money online, and it's probably the easiest that it's ever been. Making these YouTube videos does allow you to learn other skills, which is quite important, I think. Over this year as well, I've also had quite a large increase in confidence in what I share and how I share things as well. At the start, I didn't have much confidence in my work, and I was worried what other people would say and all that sort of stuff. But now I don't really care as much, which I guess could be seen as a good thing and a bad thing, but it doesn't mean that I don't try anymore. It's the fact that as soon as you sort of take a deep dive and post 1 or 2 videos and realise that nobody's going to come and hate on your work or anything like that, then you do start to build that confidence in what you create. And also, I mean, positive comments and people supporting your work and everything, that really does help build that confidence as well, because you realise that if someone's putting their time or even their money into buying or watching something that you create, I mean, that's huge. That must mean that you're doing something right, because money and time is hard to come by, and people are probably thinking before they do spend those sorts of things on what you create. So does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So yeah, sharing what you create, it is a big confidence builder. It may not seem like it is going to be at the start, but honestly, give it like 3 months, 6 months, a year, and you'll probably realise that you have grown a lot in that time. So if this has sort of inspired you to make things or just share things online somewhere in the internet space, then just go ahead and just dive into it and do it. Because I've heard so many times that just sharing your journey and sharing your work and sharing what you're learning along the way is sometimes a whole lot better than teaching. Probably the biggest thing that has stopped me up until last year on creating videos like these is that I was worried that to create a video you need to teach people things. And when you're starting off as an artist, you've got not much to teach at all, really, because you don't see yourself as an expert in that area. And I definitely don't see myself as an expert. I rarely make videos on this channel like that are instructional or that are tutorials or whatever, because I just don't feel that confidence to teach that. But I do share my progress, and I do share my attempts at making things. And I think in some ways that speaks stronger to people than if I was to just make tutorials, because people get to see the highs and the lows along the way. And I think it just gives more of a human feel to YouTube channels if you get to see sort of the struggles. And in a way, when you do share what you're learning, then you are teaching. So I don't know, it's food for thought. It's something worth thinking about. If you are a beginning artist in any sort of thing, or if you're a beginner anything really, it doesn't have to be art, it could be science or whatever. Sharing it online in some form, I think overall is worth it. Even if nobody watches it at all, it's something that you can look back on and think, wow, in 2021 I created this video. This was exactly where I was at in my journey. And here I am 5 years later, and look how far I've come. I just think that's very cool to be able to sort of have an online diary like this. So if this has inspired you at all, create something, go for it, and let me know and I will watch your thing. And yeah, that's all I have to say. As always, thank you very much for watching these videos, because it's people like you that keep inspiring me to keep making things. So if I can sort of inspire you to make things, then that's me trying to give back. Let me know if you enjoyed this type of video. It was just a sort of chatty thing that just popped into my mind today, and I will see you again in another video. Bye for now.